Hey y'all, welcome back to Let's Talk About it with Courtney. I'm your host, Courtney Carroll, your licensed therapist in Washington State and North Carolina, your connection coach, relationship coach, and I am excited to be back. Last week I recorded and then I had issues with technology. We had a lot of flooding and issues with the weather here in Washington. If you're not aware or don't live local, I live on the river, so we were on stage 2 evacuation and all these things. So I apologize for missing last week. I have now learned my lesson. I will record multiple episodes so I have backups just in case that happens again. But anyway, let's get started. So I've been obsessed with this quote. Mel Robbins posted it. I did a different version of it on some of my social media. And it's just really popped in with, I have a couple new clients that are starting to see me. I have a few of my very close friends that are going through relationship stuff, and I thought I'd share it with you. Hopefully that's great with you. Mel Robbins posted it, I think a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, okay? But she posted it. There's an unknown writer, which is great, that's fine. It says, "I just don't want that for myself anymore," is a valid enough reason to stop anything. I love that. I just don't want this for myself is a valid reason to stop doing anything you don't want to do or doesn't align with you anymore. You can change your character any day. If you decided one day alcohol is not for you, you can stop, and that's okay. You don't need to associate yourself as an alcoholic to think alcohol is not a good substance for you. You could decide hey, this friendship, maybe one of your best friends, I can think of one of my old previous friends in my head right now, is unhealthy. It's actually kind of toxic. She only calls to bitch or complain about her life, and there's no room for me in this relationship. And that doesn't mean you don't have seasons in relationships where sometimes it's more about the other person, because life is hard, we go through things. But when it's always like that in every season of your relationships, whether that's romantic relationships or with friendships, that needs to be looked at. We do not have a lot of extra time in our lives. I am 36. I'm a single mom. I work a full-time private practice business and coaching business, as you guys have been following along. I have my daughter about 90% of the time, and I don't have a lot of spare time. I work, I do the pickup, drop off for my daughter every single day for school. And we're about to enter school break. Yeah, then I have her all the time, or have to get babysitters and all. There's not a lot of spare time. And what I'm kind of remembering another thing, Taylor Swift, when she came on the podcast, the Kelsey podcast, New Heights, I think it's New Heights. It was major, right? She broke YouTube, she broke everything, right? She's incredible. I love Taylor Swift, and so does Hazel. But she says your energy should be valued. We don't have an endless amount. It should be people shouldn't have unlimited access to it. And so when I'm kind of blending that idea and then the quote I wanted to start off with, if you don't want to do anything anymore in relationships, or if maybe you're married, maybe you're looking at your husband or wife and it's hard, it's constantly hard, or maybe your values have changed along the way, and maybe they want to go out and you're at home with the kids. That's a ton of my friends, that's usually the roles. And maybe you're I don't want that in a partner anymore. I want the partner that wants to be at home. I want that. I want the wife that doesn't immediately go out after work every night with her friends instead of coming home to me. I've heard that from several people this week. But they have this commitment to their vows, to their faith, to their religion, and that, well, I guess I'll just suck it up, and unfortunately, it's ingrained. I think it's easier, the generation behind us, I don't know who us are, but me, I'm a millennial, won't have this same type of ingrainment where we have to stay in unhealthy things for us. where we constantly have to be people pleasers, especially women. I'm sorry, men. Like, I do feel like my professional opinion lands usually more on the wives or whatever, but maybe you are too. And if this speaks to you, take it, right? But naturally being a people pleaser, always giving your time, it's so ingrained. And we don't think of, what if I don't want this? And do we really believe in a God that wants us in an unhealthy relationship? Because a lot of people will say, well, my partner didn't cheat on me. He didn't like break the rules technically, but he's unhealthy or she's unhealthy. And our sex life is like not there. It's a non-existent. I want a sex life. And so many times I hear this. I've heard it this week from someone in their 40s. I'm like, that's a long time not to ever have sex again just because you have vows. You know, that's a lot. Women these days, we're having sex until we're in our mid 80s, if not longer. That's 40 years. No sex? Hell no, right? And same with men. I've had male clients tell me, like, in their late 20s, early 30s, like, their relationship is already a sexless relationship, but they love their wife, but maybe they'll just suck it up. I'm like, that's a life sentence. Because what I do know about sex as a couples and sex therapist is, like, it's incredibly important. Just as much as the emotional relationship, right? Emotionally, if you're not getting what you need from a partner, and maybe that's enough. You don't need someone to cheat on you to leave a relationship. You don't. And I don't know if you need permission or not, but here I am. This is your permission. This is your gateway. Here's your key. And maybe you just don't know how to do it. But I think we're finally coming up into a world where we don't stay in unhealthy relationships just to stay. And I love that I'm raising a daughter in this world. That was a big part of when I finally ended my marriage. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have a daughter. She's right there. Like, I have to teach her that, one, this isn't love. This isn't marriage. This is not what I'm going to raise her in. I choose her. I pick her happiness. And I think it comes from not having that picked for me. If you're unfamiliar, like, I made an episode about my biological mom, and she was a drug addict and battled addiction all of her adult life, from my understanding. And I lost her a few years ago, and it's like, I like having a mom not choose you, or to not get sober for you, or to, gosh, it messed me up. It contributed to my decisions in picking an unhealthy partner, like choosing someone when they weren't choosing me, because I just didn't want more abandonment issues. I didn't. And that was on me to learn and grow. And if that's you, and if I'm like, if it's ringing the bell or hitting your ear, like maybe giving you some goosebumps or something, like if you're resonating with, like, hey, I stay because I don't either want to abandon my partner, or I don't want to start over, but that's the bad thing to do. Good girls don't get divorced. If any of this, and same with men, by the way, you don't want to be the bad guy. Like, and if that's ringing a bell, hook up with me, message me, let's get therapy going or coaching going. And if I'm not the right fit for you, I will help someone that will find the right fit for you. Because I think not having you be at your best or feel like this is the best thing for you is the right decision for you. And teaching our kids, like, hey, we love you so much that we're going to pick the thing that is healthier for you. Because if we're not healthy, if we're not like happily and in love, not all the time, of course, like it's not a Disney movie, I'm not silly, but if we want different things in our lives, why wouldn't we teach our kids that that's okay? Why not? And I know that sounds crazy. It just goes against everything I was raised to do. And I would imagine anyone that's watching this channel feels the same way. Like, can you really do that? Literally, so many women, like, especially in the last, like, 3 months I've been working with, like, our new clients, like, Can I really leave? Yeah. Am I the bad guy? No. And if you are a bad guy in the story, let them think that. You know your truth. If your partner would rather party and go out and drink and hang out, or would rather maybe get an emotional relationship from someone else or talking to other people, but you think it's best for your kids just to have two parents at home, like, let's talk about that, you know? And we don't have to stay in unhealthy things anymore. Anything. And it could be maybe, like, it could be as simple as like food. If you're like, hey, I'm tired of being in a position where food is my emotional baggage, it's my battle, and like you're done with it and you want to start the gym, like New Year's is coming, people, resolutions, all those things, like all that is so big for the gym right in January, and you're like, I'm done. Start today. Fucking go to the gym or go on a walk and go through your kitchen, empty your cabinets that has any of like those weaknesses. Like, I don't know about you, but chips cannot be in my house. I love chips. I'm a savory person. Like sweets are okay. It's just not my thing. And like Doritos or something like that, I could eat a whole bag. But I don't bring those into my home because I know on a bad day I'm gonna open up that bag of chips instead of like meditate. I meditate nearly every single day. I've never thought I'd be a therapist that could tell her clients or anyone in her life that she meditates every day, but I do. And I would go to food versus that, and I didn't want to do it anymore, so I stopped. I booked a session with my therapist, and again, yes, therapists go to therapy. We're aware of the joke, and I changed my relationship with food because that's what I was raised with. My dad has had heart attacks and had a lot of health issues, and I think I was taught at some age that food was kind of comfort. And I don't think that it's anything specific to him. I think it's just what I kind of watched, and food is comfort. And it's easy to gain weight. I've been there, like not 100 times, but I've been way over my weight limit, or like my healthy weight is what I'd say, like nothing crazy, but to where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I just did that a few months ago. I was like, looked at me, I'm like, I don't feel like myself anymore. That's when I booked the therapist. So if this is resonating with you, book the therapist. Start seeing someone. If you don't like or do anything, you can quit. Like, I know you can't just quit a job, but you can spend 5 minutes a day on Indeed and seeing if there's any postings and dedicate an hour a week to, like build your resume. ChatGPT, y'all, AI, like it's incredible now what technology can do for us. Put in your resume stuff, upload it, and apply at jobs here and there. Spend 5 minutes a day. If you hate your job and it brings you to your knees and like you're never happy to be there, it is not for you. And if you believe in God or a superpower, I mean that's cool too. If you believe in that, I'm in. But if you believe in spirit, Buddha, anything, do they really want us unhappy? And then even your family and friends, like especially if you're in the midst of wanting a divorce or thinking, can I be the bad guy? Would your parents really want you that unhappy where you're faking a smile to everyone else in the world and slowly like dying on the inside? When I announced my divorce to my family and friends, like, or separation, I shocked so many people. My daughter's daycare was like, are you kidding me? What do you mean? You and him? I'm like, yeah. There was some infidelity, there was stuff, like I just can't do it again. And then they're like, again? I'm like, oh yeah. I didn't tell so many people. Only my very close friends or therapists knew that I constantly stayed in a marriage that was unfaithful. And that's not all his fault. Like, I chose to stay. He was never forceful or made me do anything. And I chose to stay because for whatever reason, that's what I thought I deserved, or that's the right thing to do. And the last time before the last time of infidelity, like I had a baby, like I was pregnant, like there's 2 times. it's okay if you're in the midst of just talking about these things, or maybe this is hitting home for you and you're like, can I really leave? Yeah, you can. And you can admit that out loud, even if it's just with me and you're listening to this, and you can pause this right now and say, dang, Court, I don't want to keep doing this. That's the first step right there. And that can be for anything. It doesn't have to be divorce. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It can be like, I quit cutting. I quit self-harm. I quit grabbing a bottle of the wine at the end of the night to numb myself to where I can go to sleep. I'm done with that. I quit, gosh, what's a good one? I quit putting everyone's needs above my own just so that everyone else has everything while I suffer. I've talked about that in an episode, but it's there again, like, I don't come in with a plan much for therapy. Our podcast episode, it is therapy, right? You're working with a therapist. But I don't come in with like a layout land. Like, this is the first note I think I've ever had in this, and it's just because I wanted to make sure I got that quote right. But I remember the quote, and I have really great clients, and I have friends going through it, and I'm like, that's what I want to talk about this week. As I just don't want that for myself as a valid enough reason to leave anything, because it is. And when you are in a place where you have always been the selfless person, always do for others, I've lived there, my friend. I have lived in it. I have stayed. I have done things I don't want to do because I don't want either the image or the guilt of being the bad guy. It's easier. Like, it's hard because some people think, well, your husband cheated on you. Like, that's why I can't leave, because you got the bad thing happen. I'm like, and yeah, I guess if you're going biblical, my husband broke a commandment. It releases me from being his wife. Sure. But what ended our relationship was the lack of respect he had for me, and the trust and that stuff. So if you're experiencing that, you're not getting respect in your own relationship, whether that's with your husband, wife, or your boss, you don't have to do it anymore. That, to me, should be a personal vow for you. I will never stay in another relationship or friendship that doesn't respect me or value my time and doesn't see me like as who I am. And if that's you, if you're constantly always doing so much for others and rarely are getting your tank full, let's look at your relationships. Let's talk about it, right? Let's start doing some self-introspection. That's a big word, I know. But like, let's look inside. I mean, like, why do I tolerate bad behavior? Like, children, our kids can mess up, and like, they mess up. Like, that we don't quit. That's the thing you don't quit. Don't quit on your kids for sure. Hell yeah, don't do it. In fact, I think more people should choose their children. Get divorced for your kids so that they don't think this is love or marriage. It's like the first time, there's like a popular TikTok or something going around that, like, for the first time, women are no longer looking to be with men for financial support or for them to provide or anything, because women are finally making money. Women are in a place where we're not in the 1920s and 1960s. We have credit cards, we have jobs, we have good paying jobs, or can get to a good paying job if you're in school or go back to school. You get what I'm saying. But for the first time, women, and by the way, same with men, I'm sure, but women specifically are no longer dating someone for those things or staying. Women are no longer staying in marriage for their kids. They're leaving their marriages for their kids. Maybe they relate to me, like, maybe they relate to you. Like, I can't let my daughter think this is love or think men treat us this way. Fuck no. And if that's you, you know your answer. And it doesn't have to be cheating. It could just be disrespect. It could be that your partner doesn't choose you. It could be that they would rather go get a round with their buddies at the bar, or constantly book golf tournaments and everything too. I have a lot of friends and clients that do golf, and instead of spending time with their family or booking the vacation, they're scheduling a hangout with their friends, their girlfriends. A lot of girls do this all the time. Women do it all the time. Okay, we are just as guilty of like not prioritizing our marriage. I've been guilty of that for sure. There's been points in when I was married where I hung out with my friends so I didn't have to go home to my husband, because at home I think I just knew, like, I would, like, especially early on in our like 20s for sure, like, at least I'm appreciated, at least they want to be around me and they don't cheat or lie or do these things. But so I'd like overbook them instead of even wanting to spend time. Like, if you're that partner, if you're choosing like, hey, I'm constantly like, instead of a date night, I'm constantly going out with my friends instead to avoid either conflict, fighting. If you're familiar with pursuer, withdrawer, and it's emotion focused therapy, I'm a withdrawer, so I avoid conflict if possible with my partners, and I will pull away. And pursuers pursue. I don't think I have to explain that too much. But if you are not getting what you need in your relationships or your job, there's a way out. And you have support. I'm offering mine right now. Or I will help find you the support you need. Or talk to a colleague, talk to an acquaintance. If there's a mentor in your area that's going through something like that, I have incredible mentorship. For the first time in my life, I have solid mentorship. And I'm so glad I do. And if I'm struggling with something, I can run it by them. There's a reason why therapists work with supervision, like supervisors and mentorship. It helps us be better at our job. So maybe if you can't afford a therapist or coach, maybe there's someone within your office space or a close friend that's gone through what you're going through. We're a lot more alike than we are apart in the world, I think. Maybe lean into a friendship and just, can we talk about this? I heard Courtney's podcast. She talked about that Mel Robbins quote. I don't think I want to do this anymore. Would that really make me a bad guy? Am I the worst mom? Am I the worst dad if I really leave my wife? Or if I leave my husband? No. The only way, like, I feel like it's a bad thing is if you leave your kids. If you don't prioritize your children. Your kids, you're not quitting your kids. You're going to share custody with your kids. And that's a whole thing. I've made an episode about it. It is hard. It is so hard being around. Oh gosh, that makes me emotional. Yeah. It's so hard to have your kids all the time and have to share them. I recently had to have my daughter stay with her dad for 10 days, and it was brutal. It's just not normal. The first few days are always nice because it's kind of, I don't know, I get to sleep in, or I don't have to do drop off, and then it's not natural to not go 10 days without your kid, and that's, I don't even want to elaborate too much on that one, I'm sure it's hard for them too, I'm sure, but I would rather do this, share my daughter, than teach her or let her think that love's not the best, I will always prioritize her. So if you're there, do I want to leave my husband or my wife, and what will do this do to my children? Instead of thinking what it will do in a negative way, what could it do for them? Because I know what it did for my daughter, and she's not aware of it, yet. But I hope one day she can look at and think, I'm so proud of my mom. I'm so proud of her for choosing me, for choosing her, and for teaching me I don't have to stay in unhealthy relationships. I don't have to stay with men that cheat. Because now I know my mom didn't do it, so why would I? And I hope she is proud of that. And I think she will be. There's no way she wouldn't be. So if you're worried about your kids, they want you happy. And for you to be like the best parent ever, you have to be able to take care of yourself. There's a reason why that quote, you can't pour from an empty cup, because you can't. You truly can't pour from an empty cup. But we do it. We dwindle. We like run on fumes. And then we wonder why we break down or fall apart. And it's not worth it anymore, my friends. It is no longer worth staying in relationships and a job that kills you. That doesn't, and if it doesn't kill you, if it doesn't even just, it doesn't align with you. If your core stuff, morals, ethics, whatever that core stuff is for you, no longer aligns, because we grow, we evolve with a particular friend. Maybe you've been friends for 15 years and they're still doing things from like 15 years ago, and you're like, I don't want to do that. Or like having friends that never have anything good to say for years, like always be negative. You don't have to be their friend anymore. Let them be negative. Let them figure it out, and let people judge. And then let me, like let me speak it in your voice, right? Live. Freedom. Alignment. Because I would rather be single than be in an unhealthy relationship again. I would rather stay home on a Friday night and hang out and watch TV than go out and listen to my friend tell me for the 100th time how awful everything is. And that's what I'm doing on my very limited free time. No. So I hope this resonates with you. I hope this helps you. And again, I'm sorry for missing last week. I know I need to record more. I have a mentor and a person that works with my technology stuff that's gonna tease me that I didn't do more recordings. I like recording weekly. I think it's just more authentic to me. I kind of think I get messages and picks up things like throughout the week between sessions, and it just makes me feel authentic. I show up as me, as Courtney Carroll, and just like for my sessions, I don't plan those going in. I literally don't. So why would I do that for anything else that doesn't feel authentic? I am honored to have this time with you. Thank you so much for being here. Go ahead, follow if you have questions, concerns, or if you want to book that session, CourtneyCarroll.com or WaymarkCounseling.com. Let's get to work if that's you. If not, thank you for your support, and we'll talk soon.